Hi guys, how you doing? We haven't done this for a while. But I have something real special for you today that I think you're going to really enjoy. I have discovered how much I like UV resin, and if you haven't, I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to use it, very simply, very basic today, and I'm going to show you how to make a faux dichroic, or some people call them Fauxpals, glitter pendant. Very simple to do, and it looks like a knockout when you make jewelry out of it. So come on over here and let's do it. Alright, so here's how it goes. You can see mine that I've made. I made a bunch of these the other day. They're so fun and they're so fast. This one looks like the beautiful, you know, like a check doublet almost. Really dichroic. And this is a glitter cab. This one has a back on it. This is from the Fauxpal 1928 collection of plated pewter castings that we have from 1928 Jewelry Company. And this is too, for that matter. But this one had an open back. You see? So how in the world, if you've not done this before, you might wonder, how in the world do you do that without that leaking out all over the place? It's so simple you won't believe it. We're going to do one together too. But this one's mostly glitter and some shredded mylar, which is basically, you know, that stuff that people use to, you know, wrap up a gift basket, that cellophane type stuff, and it's kind of iridized. You get it on a great big long roll. Well, this is what it is basically. In fact, it looks like this. You cut it up in little pieces and you just crunch it all up. That's all it is that paper. But you have to cut it up in little tiny pieces. Like, you can't put a big piece unless you have a really big mold that you're filling with resin. In that case, yeah. But not in something like that. You got to have tiny pieces. So then what I say, well, what would be good is go to the dollar store and get those little like dollar bags of shred that you put in the bottom of the gift basket that are made out of the same thing, or colors, or whatever you want that's kind of shiny and bright, tinsely looking, and you can use that and just cut it in smaller pieces. It'll be easier to work with because this stuff is kind of like, it's kind of staticky. So when you make it in little pieces, it kind of wants to stick to you all over the place. So there's a little piece. But anyway, let's just get to it and let me show you how to do it. You can use a lot of chunky glitter too. And chunky glitter is super easy, but it doesn't quite give you the look of, say, you know, putting the mylar in it. So you can see in here the crunched up, you know, paper in there. Okay, but this was backless. So how do you do that? Well, I have another mount similar to that, only in the rusted iron. And the way to do it is called PET tape, P-E-T tape. Okay, it looks like this. And it's just the best thing. In the past, years ago, when we did backless bezels, they were a real pain because you would just use packing tape and hope it stuck to it and that the resin didn't run out all over the place. And it was kind of a pain. And you can still do that, but it just doesn't work as well as PET tape. PET tape is the bomb. You just take, I think there's like 10 meters on these rolls. We have them at the website at beautifulboutiques.com by the resin stuff. Mixed media supplies, I think it says. And whoops. Now you don't want to do that. You know why? Because it'll stick to it and you'll never see where it ended. I always bring it up and fold it again like that. So the next time you come to it, you're not trying to pick it off. Now I got something on the back of here, which is not good. But because we're putting glitter in here anyway, it'll be okay. So I would go ahead. Normally I would just say, no, I've got to start over. But this will be all right because of what we're doing. I'm just going to take the mount and just squarely stick it down on the PET tape. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to make sure that it's sticking on there really, really good. Like I can take it and you know, push it around here, mush it down on it, but it really sticks good. And I don't get a lot of resin leakage when I use this. Okay, now everything I'm showing you here today can be done with 2-part resin. I like ice resin. We have it at our site, the 2-part kit. It's fun. It works great. In fact, for some things it works better than UV. But for this, I think UV is the bomb. It's what you want to do, and it's so fast. I'll show you just how fast. So I have this all prep now to go, and then I'm going to use this UV resin, this brand. You may have seen it around before. We carry this at our website too. I experimented with a lot of them, and I found that this is the best one. This is the one you want to get. So we direct import ours so that we can get it straight from the factory. But anyway, it's all Chinese, this stuff, this resin. But you know, just tell you a little piece of history. All the resin stuff, that is kind of an Asian type product. Always has been. Going back to vintage jewelry, which I know a good bit about. Late 40s, early 50s, they're starting to see a lot of funky new plastics and resins and stuff like that. And they all came out of Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China. And they just over the years got so good at it that that's their product. And so, you know, you want to buy from them because, you know, there's not a U.S. product that beats it. You can buy this in the U.S. from a distributor. You can buy it from me. But it's made in China. Okay, and this is the one I got. So anyway, getting back to the project, what I'm going to do is I have this all stuck down nice. Now I'm just going to take this stuff and I'm just going to pour it into the bottom. I'm just kind of swirling it around. I want to get this to cover everything. And this one has a little lip on it. You see, on the edge. I'll take my little toothpick and point it out to you. Okay. So it's already kind of finding its way home here, you know. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's just you want to get it all the way over. And there's that little piece of glitter that was on the back of it. So you'll see it really does show through. But in this case, it's not going to matter because we put more down in there. Okay, so I have this covered very, very nicely. Okay, so if I set this in the UV box, it'll be clear through. Sometimes you want to do that. Sometimes you might want to color this with alcohol ink, which would be a whole nother video. Or sometimes you just want to get started with your Faux Dichroic or your Fauxpal. So how do you do that? Easy, simple. Okay, what I like to do is the way I did this one. I just did this one a few minutes ago. Isn't that gorgeous? That's another B-Suva 1928. In fact, the number on that is GF08548, one of my favorites. This one had a closed back. This one's open. So what will I do? Well, the first thing I'd like to do is get probably my cellophane stuff down in there first. So I'm going to take and I'm going to just cut this up. I'm going to try and get it in tiny pieces. Even that's a little bit too big. Just little bits. And then you're going to see the merry chase of picking it up and putting it in there. But we'll get it. Now when you're doing this, don't cut through your glove like I almost did. Because you might cut you, and then not only that, all the resin will come rushing in on your finger, and it'll be like no point in it. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up, and I've got this resin down. You always want to put some resin down first so you have something to stick to. So there it's floating in the resin. So I just close it around. Now the thing about this is, if you want to get a nice smooth surface at the top of your dome, then you need to be sure you get this down in there, or it'll stick up. And then you'll have to go around and try to cut it off. And sometimes you'll be successful and sometimes you won't. And so it'll still be really pretty, but it'll be a little rough at the top. And you might like that. So you might even want it to be a little flatter. Now I have to be careful because this is getting kind of high. Once I put this in here, I don't want it to run over. That won't look nice. Okay, so I need a small piece now. I'm just going to get a little bit. I'm not going to crunch up a whole lot in here because I've got other things that I can put in here too that make it real pretty. In fact, I think I might use some more of this blue in here. I don't know. Javi, what do you think? She's right here with me. Which color do you think is going to look good in the rusted iron here? This is cool. You ever have one of these things you could just shake your glitter out? These are Mylar too. I'm thinking pink maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Pink?
Close pink.
Pinky poo? Okay, so what I like to do is, I have a little blue down here too. It's not going to hurt anything. So I like to pour it into here because you don't want to shake. Don't ever shake your glitter straight into your bezel if you can help it with the glitter, with the resin in there. Because sometimes it will just, you get like dump a whole bunch in there and then it'll just glurp up. It'll just be a mess. So don't, just take it, put it in a cup and get one of these little coffee spoons or whatever you've got that's real tiny that you could do this. So I'm getting some blue down in here too because I think it's good with the blue and the different pink, and then it's got that iridized cellophane type look in the back of it. Okay, so you see where I'm going with it. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, so now what I have to do, and I have to be very careful because this is kind of high in here already, but I want to get this moved out to the edges the best that I can without pushing the resin over the edge. I want to get it filled up, and then I want to get that cellophane-y type mylar down in there. Really, you might be better off with buying a product like this, because what this is cut up mylar, real tiny, which is perfect for this. I don't have this at the website yet, but I'm going to get some. It just came in today, and I just saw it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm liking this, because working with the stuff cut off the roll is kind of a pain. But you want to get this all down into the resin really good, because with this one, it's pretty high. I usually like to do 2 or 3 layers on here. So I got this one a little bit deep. So I'll have to kind of go very carefully. It'll be sticking up all over, or I'll have resin running over the side here. Not underneath, it's the sides. And that won't be pretty at all. That will kind of mess it up for you. Okay, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to let it be good enough. If it sticks up a little bit, I'm going to have to hope the second coat takes care of it. So I had another one sticking in here right now. I'll talk to you about this in a minute. But anyhow, I just take for my nail light box. I don't know if you can see the light box. Can you bring it in, Javi, a little bit?
Oh,
yeah, it's a light box. Just go on Amazon and get one. Don't buy the $10, $12 ones. They're junk. You have to pay a little bit more. Try to get the one that you can put 2 hands in it, because then you have more room. Or if you can find one with a tray that pulls out, it makes it easier for you. Okay, and then I just take a piece of cardboard and I take some of this silicone, that they have. You get different places, craft place, they have this they make. I think it's a Ranger product. I just cut up a piece of that because it's a no stick, and I just put that on there so that if resin gets on it, doesn't matter. Nothing's going to stick. It's like my little cookie tray, like, kind of, sort of. Okay, now I'm going to put this in.
Kind of like wax paper.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. You could probably do that too, except it might stick. Nothing will stick.
True.
So now you want to put this in here, and I'm going to put it in for a minute. Now this is going to take probably like 3 minutes to finish up. So in the meantime, I'll talk to you about this, so we don't go all day and all night. Okay, so this is another one I did with the rusted iron. It's the SKU is PIRON 02821. It's B Super 1928. Am I on? Yeah. Okay. And I think this is dry. So to tell if it's dry or not, since I have these gloves on, if I don't want to stick my finger on there, if it's not, then I'll have a big nasty mark. But I kind of tap at it, and it feels pretty good. Not glurpy coming up. So what I do now, since I'm done, I just peel the pet tape off very carefully. Oh, did you see that?
Yes.
You know what that means? We have to cure it some more. A little bit leak through the stuff on the back, my first layer. Whoops, that didn't hurt anything. And so we have to stick it back in there again. I'm kind of glad that happened, so you could see that. So I tapped it and it was all good on the front, but the back I had a little bit of ooey gooey. But you know what? This looks great. Now if you'd use regular standard packing tape, shipping tape like we used to do back in the day, you would have marks and ridges all over that you'd have to sand down and probably do another fine layer of resin over top to make it shiny. A lot of work. With this, no. With UV resin and pet tape, generally it pulls off, and even though there's a little bit ooey gooey yet, it's nice and smooth. It looks good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick it back in here with this for a little bit. Probably a minute or two would be enough. Just put it back in there. And that's it. So what I spent for this one, in case you guys want to know, I think I spent, no, I have Prime, so I didn't pay shipping. It's around 40 bucks in that area for it. The first bunch that I got, I imported direct myself, and it was not worth it because the shipping's so high. What?
The light.
The light? Oh, went out. Okay. I don't know what you want. Okay. So you have to kind of keep pressing the light and kind of babysit it. But it's like, it takes like 2-3 minutes to cure and you're done. You're ready to make jewelry out of it. I mean, it's so wonderful, right? So anyway, I found out it wasn't worth it. The shipping is just too high. Just get it off of a vendor at Amazon and be done with it. I'm not going to carry these things. I don't want to be involved in that. They're very easy to find. You could go, if you want to go to the store and get one, get it, you know, right away. You can go to like Sally Beauty Supply or a place like that, Ulta, and they probably have them in there. Of course, you probably pay a little more for them there too, but anyway, that's a thought. This should be done. I'll take this one out. It won't take that long. Okay, so this one's kind of ready to go. Now I'm looking to see here. Did it not cover here? No, it covered. That's good. No, it is kind of dippy. Well, all I'll do is I'll just take a little drop of the UV resin, put down over that, and kind of smush it out again, stick it back in there and let it cure, and we should be fine. So, I mean, it's just so fuss-free. So, this is what it looks like if I hold it up to light. You can kind of sort of just a little tiny bit see through it. But yeah, it reminds me of those fancy check doublets, opals that you buy, the glass ones, that have the pink and the blue and everything through it, you know. So you can experiment with different kinds of glitters and, you know, fine glitter, chunky glitter. Usually for me, I found chunky glitter is best. But, I mean, you can experiment and have a blast finding just what works good for you, you know. And this is just ready to be made into jewelry, so all you'd want is maybe to get some rhinestone rondelles and some like Jet AB maybe, beads, little ones, put with some chain, dark chain, or even gold chain would be pretty. And there you go. You have jewelry. Fast and easy. Okay, so now this one, I'm going to just take a quick look. I don't think this is quite cured yet, but I'm going to tap on it. You just really want to be sure that it didn't come up too high. And I have done another layer of resin on there, and it cured pretty nice, but I still see it's got little, let me point to it. It's got little places where it's high. Now that's not the end of the world, believe me. It's still beautiful, there's nothing wrong with it, but I would prefer not to have that. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is another thing about UV that's so wonderful, is you can put layer over layer after layer, so long as the one that's under it is nicely cured already. And I think this one's cured enough that I can do that. Let me just tap that again. Remember how we tap it to make sure? Yeah, that feels hard. It might be a little tacky yet, but it's enough. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do just a little tiny bit more now. The higher you get on this, the more careful, you know, you have to be very careful because you don't want it rolling off, you know, like a little waterfall over the edge. You won't like that. Okay, so I'm just putting a little bit in the middle first there and kind of spreading it because and you never want to like go like this and, you know, tip it to try and do it. You need to do it carefully with your toothpick because sometimes it's hard to tell. Is it going over the edge? You don't always see it, you know, and then you go stick it in to cure, pull it out like, I didn't see that. Oh no, I have a mess. This is not what I wanted, you know. So, you don't want to do that. So I'm just trying to get it spread out to the edges. And that's another thing you want to look for, that when you're putting a layer on, you get it all spread to the edges. Because even if you do another layer over top of it, say you didn't get it all spread to the edges, and even if you do another layer over, you can still see this funny little wavy line at the edge if you don't get it all the way. So you just want to get it, but you have to be very careful that it doesn't run over. That's the main thing. Okay. So I'm pretty much sure I got it. Javi, what do you see? Can you see?
Yeah, you just need a little bit on this corner.
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, you kind of need like different angles.
Yeah, you know what? I'll move this around. That's a good point, Javi. Let's move this around. This is so pretty. Yeah, see, it didn't go all the way over here either. There's a big part.
Yeah, I see that now.
That would have been bad. So yeah, that's the trick, is just to turn it at different angles. It's a little bit tedious when you do this part, but it's worth it for the result. And believe me, it's nowhere near as tedious as so many other things, like, you know, the two-part. And another thing too I like about UV is you don't get all the bubbles and stuff.
That's true.
You know, you get some, but they're easy to get out. With the two-part, it's harder. Okay. Let's see, do I have a piece sticking up yet? No. I think that's as far down as I'm going to be able to get them embedded. There's a little bit, but it's not bad. You'll have a little bit. Okay, so I'm putting in there. That's going to take about 2 minutes. I think I'm going to stick this back in there too, on its back, for just a little bit, just to be sure. But that's pretty much how it goes. And, you know, once you get done with that, you're ready to go. Sometimes they'll come out a little bit hot. You know, set them aside, because that's the thing about UV. It is based on heat and UV light, and it will get hot. Like, for example, you can cure this stuff outside in bright sunlight. I don't know if you knew that. You don't have to have a lamp. If you have a nice sunny place where it can get a lot of sunlight, bright, it'll cure it not quite as quick, but say maybe 10 minutes. But you want to be sure, if you go outside with this and you have any of it on your hands or skin, get it off before you go outside, because it'll start curing on you as soon as you get into the sunlight. And I'm telling you what, it's hot. It stings, and it's hard to get off. You don't want to do that. So make sure you don't get any on you, and you'll be okay. So that's another, you know, possibility for you. If you don't want to invest into a lamp, you really don't have to. You can just go and you can just get something, a tray or something, or make yourself a tray like that. Put them outside, and 10-15 minutes, you have about the same effect. If not, just let it sit there till you do. I know it works because I've done it, okay? But I would much prefer to have the lamp, okay? So let's see where we're getting here. Looks like we're about done. That's just a minute, though. So to be honest with you, I would probably prefer, this is done. I would probably prefer that I did like another 2 minutes on this, but I don't want to sit here and have you sit while I do it. It's like watching me dry. But I think you can get the gist of it. See if I can pull it up very carefully. I just don't want to get my fingers on it in case it's just a little bit tacky yet. It's not going to roll off it though. But it's nice. You just tap it a little bit and see. Yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, it could stand to be in another time. But how gorgeous is that? And then you'll just pin the back, pull the back off. In fact, I wouldn't advise this, but we're at a place I think we could do this. See if we got some ooey gooey going on the back of this, or if we got a nice finish on the back. Maybe just a little bit. Sometimes you'll get it and it's perfect. Yeah, it's a little bit. But see, it will not hurt anything for me to sit that down there on that and put it in there, because if there was anything gooey on the back, we just get onto this. It won't stick. It won't stay on the resin like paper would stick to the resin. But I'm just going to hold this up a little bit so you can kind of see how beautiful that is. You can see just a little bit of light going through that. Just a little bit. I don't know if it's translating well on there. Probably not. But make one. You'll know what I'm talking about. You'll see it. That's why I like to do that clear layer down first and then put stuff in it. But this came out great. Just needs a little bit more curing. So all you have to do is choose your beads and stuff you want to do to finish it off. And you have jewelry. You have beautiful jewelry that you made. And you know, this could save you some money. True, UV resin is a little bit spendy. It's more expensive than two-part. But considering the time you save and how quickly you can go ahead and make jewelry and all that stuff. In fact, there's like almost no bubbles in it. It's really pretty good. So anyhow, this is pretty much what I got for you now. And I'll be back with you real soon to teach you some more tricks about resin and all kinds of other things. I got all kinds of new ideas. So it's great to be with you today. Thanks for watching. Bye.